I'll just introduce myself real quick. I'm John Scheich. I'm an account manager at Advanced Systems Group. I'm also director of membership at SMPTE, and I'm focused on student outreach. And we at SMPTE are excited to be returning to the Silicon Valley Video Summit this year with other professional associations to take advantage of this special opportunity to talk to students who are interested in the media and entertainment industry. At SMPTE, we are expanding our footprint at schools and colleges. And let's see if I can figure out how this perfect queue system works. All right, yeah. We have student chapters at De Anza Community College, City College San Francisco, and San Francisco State University. Yeah. So professional organizations offer you a special opportunity to find out more about the industry and as an aid to your future careers. If you have questions at the end, after I've had all the panelists speak, we'll have some time for Q&A. I did want to point out what Cal State has put together with a remarkable website and resource, the CSU Entertainment Alliance. So if you check that out, I think you'll find there's some amazing resources for students at that location on the web. So I want to start today by asking our past SMPTE president, Pat Griffis, just to give you a brief overview of what SMPTE offers as an example of what professional organizations can do for the student population. So Pat, if you go ahead.
Thanks, John. Yeah, you put up my slide. There we go. So thanks for coming. How many students here? Raise your hand. We have a lot of folks. Oh, right. Well, thanks for coming. Hopefully we'll make it worth your while. And so I want to talk a little bit about some of the epiphany I had when I was forced as president of SMPTE to go talk to students at De Anza. And this is the first time to ever talk to students. And I go, what do I say to these students? You know, they're just trying to figure out life and learning and, you know, why would they care about being involved in SMPTE? And so we came up with 4 reasons. First of all, for all of you, and I think all the panelists will probably echo these, a lot of things I'm saying are true for all these organizations. First is people. You saw today the group of Ballard, and we often say it's not only what you know, it's whom you know. And in the industry, if you're passionate about media entertainment, SMPTE and our 5,000 members around the world are some of the leading experts in this area. So it's a great way to meet people, both peers locally and within SMPTE, because we're global and have student chapters around the world and sections, you can meet a lot of folks. Next, participating in SMPTE, we provide you with a lot of the tools, knowledge, in addition to the networking that can help advance your career, both as a student, as a young professional, and even as you go in your career. Next, recognition. We're very big about recognizing your contributions in the industry. I have my SMPTE Fellow shirt on, and I'm very, very happy to be a SMPTE Fellow because it's done by review from your peers. It's a voted on position, so it means a lot to individuals personally. And then finally, and most importantly, while school teaches you the basics, SMPTE teaches you the state of the art. Whether it's an HDR, which you may have noticed is one of my passions, or audio, or how to package a movie for distribution in cinema, SMPTE is developing the latest in those technologies, and so you can learn all about what's happening. And it's not just the science, it's also the art. And we have a lot of folks, like I mentioned James Cameron earlier, you know, he's come to some of the SMPTE events because he's very passionate about the technology to help him with storytelling. So you get access to the experience and wisdom of a lot of industry professionals. And at this point, I think Renard will talk a little bit more about some of the SMPTE elements for you. But with that, I'll stop. All those taken together are the perks, and those lead to hopefully your success.
Thanks, Pat.
Back to you, John.
So what I'm going to do now is actually continue with Thomas Coughlin. He's the president of IEEE, and I'm planning to start with his videos.
So what I love about IEEE is that it really allows the convening of people of like minds to come together.
I've been able to successfully use IEEE to position myself to be in the cutting edge in my industry.
We need more engineers, and IEEE is leading the way to make that happen.
IEEE has given me a competitive edge because of their support system.
Without IEEE, I don't think I would have the network that I have.
The best part about it is I get to meet people and think about ideas that are completely outside of the box.
It is so much easier being out of your comfort zone when you have someone there saying, you got this.
IEEE is all about a sense of community.
This isn't just an organization I'm a part of. This is a family. And having IEEE supporting me has really made me want to be the best engineer I can be.
IEEE is my competitive edge.
Thank you. Thank you, John. So I'm also a SMPTE member, too.
Yes, you are.
So let's go to the next slide. So IEEE is probably it's the largest technical professional organization in the world with over 460,000 members in over 190 countries. We have, in technology, we're involved in almost every type of technology you can think of, from the bottom of the ocean to the depths of outer space to nanotechnology, bioengineering, computing of all types, for example. And so this is, of course, a big driver of the world's economy today. IEEE, again, we're almost every type of technology we're involved in. Apparently, IEEE references are 3 times more used in patents worldwide than any other source for prior art information. We also have activities, standards. A lot of the world's standards are IEEE standards that govern technologies in use today. We have a lot of different societies with different sorts of activities go on, involved in future directions, looking at where technology is going in the future, which gives a chance for people to be engaged in working on these things. And we inform public policy and a resource for technical discussion. And like my friend Pat here was saying, the real reason to be part of an organization is to meet people, to connect with people, to be able to learn stuff, and to be part of an organization that can help you where you want to go in your career. Thanks.
And go to cool places.
Oh, go to cool places too, yeah.
Is that enough, Tom? Should I continue? All right, so the next thing then really is I'd like to introduce the president of SMPTE, Renard Jenkins. I think you may have seen him earlier today, but I'd like to start. We have a short video we can show.
I'm SMPTE.
I am SMPTE.
I am SMPTE.
I am SMPTE.
I am SMPTE.
I'm David Grindle, the Executive Director at the Society of Motion Picture and Television Engineers. For more than 100 years, SMPTE has been a leader in the media technology industry, and we want you to join us for the next century of innovation.
Today, SMPTE has over 800 standards that make media workflows more efficient and produce higher quality content. And now, all of these standards are available as part of your SMPTE membership. But it doesn't stop there. Newer SMPTE standards include groundbreaking ST2110, the future of IP transport for video, audio, and data. And for virtual productions, SMPTE has Rapid Industry Solutions, or RIS. These are areas, along with AI and microservices, where SMPTE will continue to be the media technology leader, benefiting all of our members. SMPTE also provides the media technology industry with continuing education opportunities. Our members get access to these courses, including reduced price on instructor-led courses and self-study courses that are a part of your membership. At our core, SMPTE is a global community, and members get access to the benefits of that community, including events, marketing opportunities, and our premier publication, the Motion Imaging Journal.
We are SMPTE, and we want you to be SMPTE too.
All right, yeah. Thank you. We are SMPTE, and it's interesting because for those of us who grew up at a certain age, we remember when television actually went off. And when it would go off at night, there would be these color bars that would show up. I never knew what they were. I never knew where they came from. I didn't know what they were even used for. But as I grew through my career and I found out that, hey, wait, there's an organization that came up with that and they standardized this, and this actually helps us calibrate cameras all over the world, all at the same time, in the same way. it piqued my interest in college, and I got into SMPTE as a student section. And so now that I am president, we've kind of looked at our mission, and I'm not going to read it to you, but it's there. And we really do want to inspire technology and art and science for everybody, everywhere. But I also had to establish a presidential platform. And when I looked at the organization and where we were going, I said, you know, what are the things that we need to be doing to actually make sure that we're here for another 107 years? And so one of the things was refocus society on science and technology innovation. You know, not just marketing, but really get in there and do the hard science. You know, reinforce some of our participation. A lot of people don't realize that we participate in animation, we participate in production, we participate in VFX and gaming and all of these different things. They benefit from the standards that we create. The fact that you can look at video on your phone is because of a SMPTE standard. These are things that a lot of people don't know, but this is what we do. We've been in the background for a long time. Work to engage our potential members at a very early age. How many of you participated in science fairs when you were in middle school? I think we all did. Wouldn't it be great if you knew who SMPTE was at the middle school age? You could understand how to actually start to do some of this video stuff with all of these folks who are content creators starting at 7 or 8 years old. The other thing is making sure that we increase the options to better serve our members and serve them at every level of their career. Because we want to start with you, and when you decide that you want to retire from this particular career, we want to keep you engaged. Because I think about it in the sense that we have all of these members all over the place who have been members of this society, and when you add it up, we have hundreds of thousands of years of wisdom from some of our retired folks as well as some of those who are more senior in their careers. Why not keep them engaged? Why not keep them interested? As engineers, we are lifelong learners. We never stop learning. And that's the joy of the curiosity. I want to inject SMPTE with that kind of desire. And finally, we want to make sure that the society actually reflects the media and entertainment industry that we globally support. It needs to look like, it needs to feel like, and it needs to be inclusive of everyone who wants to be a part of what it is that we do. So that's my thing, and I'm going to hand it back to you, John.
Thank you, Renard. And I must say, Renard and past presidents like Pat have really tried to make SMPTE a really welcoming organization. I think that's very true of all of these groups, but I just really appreciate seeing that myself. I'd like to continue now with David Bowles, and David is the owner of Swineshead Productions, and today we've asked him to talk about the Audio Engineering Society in his role as the AES Western Vice President. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. And also thank you for including us in this seminar. It was really wonderful for our local section to participate. And I must say that the San Francisco section of the AES is one of the more active ones in the country. Not only do we have these local events, but there are regional conferences and international conventions held both in the US and Europe. And so last year was the 75th year of the AES. There's your QR code if you would like to become members. Let's see the next slide. Whoops. Okay, yeah, San Francisco section. We'll go back a couple, actually. What is the AES? There we go. The Journal of the AES is one of the benefits of membership. Not only the journal, but the entire e-library is available. There's a lot of training and development for all levels of the profession, and a very large part of the organization are standards. All the physical connections are AES standards, and often we go beyond that and we partner with IEEE and SMPTE to ensure that our standards are interoperable. There are technical councils which advise on all aspects of audio, the e-library, which I mentioned, special publications, and then education is a really big part of our mission because, after all, the next generation are going to be our leaders in the future. So there's student membership at a discount, student sections which are overseen by faculty sponsors, and an annual recording competition for students in 4 different categories: acoustic, traditional studio, modern studio, and sound for picture. It's very exciting to be involved in some of the more far-reaching aspects of audio research, and what AES has been working on are audio for hearing aids. Let's consider hearing loss and how many people are experiencing that earlier and earlier through overuse of earbuds. Transducers. We think of not only big line arrays for sound reinforcement, studio monitors, headphones, in-ear monitors. Those technologies have just sort of leapfrogged over the past few years. Let's see the next slide. That's our San Francisco section, and that is aessf.org. You can attend our presentations usually for a nominal charge if you're not an AES member. And then the next one, these are some of our local presentations, and you can see we have quite a few famous companies in the Bay Area, and we'll continue our outreach and collaboration. Every year we have a studio crawl. This year was in San Francisco. Next year is in the East Bay. And then, very importantly, we have a mission for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And that has now become part of the mission statement of the AES. And I'm very happy to be involved in their national committee on that as well. Thank you very much.
So now I think what we want to do is have finally among our panelists Justine McVaney, who is the Senior Vice President and Deputy Managing Director of Global Communications and Events at National Association of Broadcasters. I always call it NAB, so NAB. And I'll let her tell you what NAB is all about.
Over the past century, local radio and television broadcasters have been an American institution. But throughout that rich history, there has been one organization standing alongside broadcasters, helping them to grow, innovate, and of course, thrive.
NAB has supported local broadcasters since the 1920s. They do it the same way today as they did then, helping local broadcasters from New York City to Reedsport, Oregon, support their communities.
When you're a small broadcaster, you don't have time to keep up with what's going on in Congress, and so thank God for the NAB.
The NAB has resources to be very efficient for the local television stations and radio stations to be represented on Capitol Hill and at the regulatory agencies.
Over its 100 years, the NAB has participated in just about every major innovation in the broadcasting industry, from the advent of television to the transition from analog to digital TV to the streaming era.
I am happy to say that I had the opportunity to work very closely with NAB as we began to explore where ATSC 3.0 was going to go and how it would be deployed. You have the opportunity to engage with customers and audiences in a way that we have not been able to do until now.
I'm a huge fan of the platforms NAB provides through its annual shows.
NAB Show is ground zero where talent and technology intersect. It's a place that brings us back every year so we can see the latest and greatest in one place.
NAB supports local broadcasters with education and continuing education for our stations.
NABLF is very deliberate about inviting diversity to the broadcast industry by creating programs within the broadcast industry for departments that need diversity.
I would say that many broadcasters would not be here today were it not for NAB.
So, as the next century of American broadcasting begins, the NAB stands side by side with dedicated journalists, storytellers, and the innovators. Together, they push the boundaries of media and communication to inspire, to educate, and to entertain audiences across the nation and around the world.
Thank you. I love that video. It's a new video we just put together, and it really does tell you the full scope of what the National Association of Broadcasters do. And I have to confess, I do not have tech street cred here. I cannot compete with these technical gurus up here on this stage. And I don't know if the fact that I have pink on gives me away too, but I am actually, I put on the trade show though, the National Association of Broadcasters NAB show, which takes place in Las Vegas every year, that has all the cool tools and technology that these guys are really interested in and want to come and play with at our show. But NAB represents free over-the-air radio and television stations. We're a full-service trade association, and at our core, our mission is to make sure that broadcasting remains a strong, viable, and growing industry so that broadcasters can continue to serve you in your communities. Broadcasters, we're there when you need us. We are the ones who you go to when you want to find out what's happening locally, your news, breaking weather, sports, and they do so much in community service in all of their communities around the country. So our mission really is to protect the industry. We do a lot of advocacy. We represent broadcasters before Congress, before federal agencies, before the courts. Again, just to make sure that broadcasting stays, again, an incredible industry. Among the services that we provide, though, for members, and we're a member company-driven organization. So unlike some of the other organizations up here, individuals don't join, but the company that you work for would be a member of our organization. And as an employee of that company, you get to reap the benefits of that membership. Some of the advantages or tools available to you, there's education, continuing education in your field, regulatory support, legal support, and of course the events and membership discounts for attending and going to all of the events and education that we have. Yes. But we don't just help you once you've already got your job. NAB does have student programs to help you get into the industry and to get excited about being in the industry. And we do these programs working a lot with our foundation, the Leadership Foundation. And one of the most important programs, maybe I shouldn't say important, but probably one of the ones you guys are going to be most interested in is our Technical Apprentice Program, or TAP. I think that program's like in its 12th year now, and it really is about giving you the certification and training that you need to have a career in the broadcast industry. But I think the best part about it is the fact that it's really putting you face to face with icons and leaders in the broadcast engineering industry. And so the mentoring and the networking that you get out of that opportunity to spend 6 months with these folks really helps advance your career and get your career launched, actually. And it's a paid program, which is nice. And one of the best parts, too, is there's a trip to Las Vegas to NAB show as part of that program. So it gives you the opportunity to come out and get your hands on all that cool equipment. I mean, I think this year, too, or maybe it's been a couple of years, we have an online version of the program as well called TAP Online. So there are modules that you can do yourself. I think it's a free program. And that actually helps, doing that program in advance helps set you up to have a better application when you apply to be in the TAP program, the live TAP program. We also have a career link on our website with job postings available to you and career resources. We do career fairs, which gives you an opportunity to get your resume out in front of broadcast companies. Of course, there's NAB Show. Need I say any more about that? And then we also have a broadcast engineering conference at our conference in April in Las Vegas. And this year, now it hasn't been announced yet, so I'm sort of letting a little bit of the cat out of the bag, and God help me if it doesn't get announced this year. But we want to do a Best Student Paper Award, and the student that's paper is selected, they'll be brought out to Las Vegas, they'll be able to present their paper at the conference. So I think that's going to get announced shortly, fingers crossed. And then also there's a Next Gen TV Fellowship Program. Again, it's about getting students involved in the industry, working on applications for ATSC and Next Gen Television. And there's an opportunity, again, that's a paid fellowship program, opportunity again to come out to Las Vegas and to present your app there at the show. So those are some of the student-specific programs that we have to help get you a career launched in the broadcast industry.
Okay. And John, before we take questions, I just want the students to know what a tremendous sacrifice we are making being here instead of at the reception. But it's for you. So ask questions.
So yeah, please think about the questions for the panelists that are here. I just want to mention about NAB. If you have not been, if you think about this event today, just multiply the number of people here by 90, and you get an impression of what NAB is about as a trade show, as a conference, as a place for meeting, as a networking opportunity. It's absolutely exciting. All of these groups are so important. Audio Engineering Society, I would say that I got my most recent job partly by attending an AES meeting. So I recommend all of you to consider how important organizations like that are. And to be honest, other jobs from Infocom, from NAB, et cetera, so important. And SMPTE, absolutely. The MTS in Hollywood in October is a fantastic event. And of course, NAB is coming up first in mid-April in Las Vegas. So just a couple of notes there. Do I have a question from the audience? Quiet, all silent. I'll get us started while you think about some questions. So my first question is, did I see a hand? Did I see a hand? No. So my first question to the group is, for someone starting in the industry, what's a good way to start?
Get a job?
Are we starting with me?
I think David had a...
Well, I learned the old-fashioned way. I apprenticed. And this is actually my second career. I have degrees from Juilliard as a performer, made lots of recordings, and then when I wanted to move to audio, which is actually my first love, I went back to engineers who had recorded me and apprenticed with them. So there was already a bond of trust between us, but I also had to be pretty serious about it, about my intentions, and did a lot of reading up. I actually joined the AES after I had been judging the student recording competition for a while. You have to get sponsorship of 3 members. And so by that time, I had worked at the Aspen Music Festival, and so I knew 3 people pretty high up in the AES who would sponsor me. And I continued the learning process. I mean, it really never stops. And I would say to anybody who's entering the field that they really need to take a rational look at their level of knowledge, and if there's something missing, try to fill in that gap. But if there's something that really grabs them, really go for it. And also, don't look back on people's careers of 2 or 3 generations ago, because the industries have changed. What is trending now that would interest you? What are your skill sets that you can contribute to that particular direction?
So actually, meeting people and taking the opportunity to meet people is important. And just to plug all of our student memberships, IEEE has it too, is that being a volunteer leader in a student group gives you great excuse, gives you borrowed authority to go talk to people you've always wanted to talk to, and to meet them and maybe get them to do things with you. So that is one of the big things. In terms of all of our organizations where we have student membership, that's a real opportunity, I think.
Yes, and I would put together presentations for our local section of areas I knew nothing about. And that increased my knowledge, but also brought different crowds to our meetings, and that's also important. And yes, students have to be made to feel welcome enough to step up and ask questions too. As a teacher put to me, she said, there are no stupid questions, there are only stupid answers. So think about that.
Yeah, and like both of them said, you know, the industry has changed in how you get engaged. Volunteerism is definitely one way. We don't have the apprenticeships like we used to. Like I had an apprenticeship, and that was great. You know, it was unpaid. It was essentially, you know, go for work, but I was on a film set. That was the main purpose, was to be on that film set and to be able to engage. That's one of those things. Take a look around, see where there are opportunities to volunteer. Get on some of the job boards as well, because there's always people who are looking for someone to help with a student film or help with, you know, this production or that production. You don't necessarily have to have experience to go and help. And that allows you the opportunity to meet more people. And then when you get engaged with organizations like these, you then get the opportunity to see where the jobs are actually happening that will pay you. And you can use that experience that you volunteered for as part of your resume and part of your legacy as you move forward.
Just one quick thing to add to that. Most jobs come from referrals. So it's knowing people that helps you to find work.
100%.
It's one of the points I made, you know, having SMPTE or IEEE. I was an IEEE student member. I'm not sure how much it helped me in my job, but certainly having those roles on your resume showing leadership, as I see some of the SMPTE student chapter presidents here, really does help, because a company wants people who are going to go and get the job done. So I would say that. And the other thing I will say has nothing to do with SMPTE, but a movie with Cher, Moon Over Manhattan, and the father says to her, there's only two things you got to do in life: find out what you're good at and what you love. Hopefully they're one and the same thing. That's true here. If you're passionate about media and entertainment or computers or audio or broadcasting, at this stage as students, you don't really know. I didn't know. I didn't think I'd end up in this chair at this point when I started. I had long hair and bell-bottom blue jeans when I got out of college, so what did I know? But, you know, get out there and don't be afraid to ask questions. That's the most important thing. It's the only way you learn.
And I had an afro.
You had an afro?
It's fallen over the years.
Hair today, gone tomorrow.
Exactly.
And I just, actually, from what the panelists were saying, I was thinking that what these organizations can do is they can, you know, if you love video or if you love music or you love audio or digital media or whatever, they can help you to explore your passion, because they give you an opportunity to learn more about the technology, more about what underlies it. They have professionals that do exactly what you might want to do in the future. So we did a thing with Deanza online, and we had a cinematographer within the ACE organization really talk about what it takes to create an IMAX film, you know. And then more recently, we've had students go to Dolby to see the secrets of color grading, and we talk about high dynamic range and wide color gamut and things like that. And it all starts to happen when you get to actually see it for real. So, Marcel, do you have a question? Get a mic.
Project.
Get a mic.
Oh, but is this being recorded?
No, it's being recorded, so.
Okay, gotcha.
Thank you.
So my question is you guys have brought up apprenticeships and things like that that aren't really the same anymore. And, you know, some of us are in like post-production or more technical things that aren't, you know, volunteering for film sets and stuff like that. What advice do you guys have for younger professionals as to how they can get that apprenticeship experience in those more technical environments that now require you to, you know, have the job and be there? It's not as like casual anymore. Like, do you guys have any advice on how to navigate that part of the whole situation?
I think being involved in some of the student productions is the first place. Start there and make sure that you are engaged with your, you know, the post-production sort of tribe that is on your campus. That's one way to get there. And then the next thing that's going to happen from that is you'll notice that people will start posting for jobs. And when they post for those jobs, apply for the job, go in, let them know the experience that you have. Sometimes they will ask you, hey, do you want to maybe be an assistant? don't poo-poo any job at the beginning. Really and truly, every job is going to give you experience. Whether it's good or bad, it's going to give you experience. And then it also helps you decide what you don't want to do, too. So that's how you can get involved with that side of the business. If you have the opportunity to do any live work, a lot of times in the live productions, there's still a bunch of people who are cutting clips and doing all that kind of stuff that are in the trucks and everywhere else. You can learn to be an EVS artist, you know, and that is live post is what it really is. And so that's what I would suggest.
And I'll add, there are a lot of apprenticeships out there, but you got to search for them. There's no one place. The technical apprentice program at NAB, when I was at Dolby, we had someone there. It's great because they fund the individual, so it makes it easy. Within SMPTE, with our student chapters, you know, trying to connect to other ones globally, you know, you might make some friends in the UK or Australia and learn about some things there. But I think, you know, it's the early bird gets the worm. You got to get out there and look for them. And there are opportunities. And internships really do help.
You end up with mentors like me if you get involved with TAP. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but.
Right, and also be willing to be a fly on the wall. I mean, I learned a lot by sitting in on recording production. That's my area. And yes, you have there are things you have to do. You might have to sign an NDA, but certainly, you know, keep your mouth shut, because I've been on the other end of this. Somebody sat in on my session, and then some rumors started flying around, which, you know, that's not kosher.
Also, take advantage of your professors' connections as well. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of work with your professors. Most professors have some sort of connection to the industry and not just being in the classroom. So work with them. I mean, my first job was because my professor knew people on the Miami Vice television set. And he got all of his students the opportunity for us to go and be on set. Now, we got no credit, but we did a lot of work and we did a lot of running around, but we made a lot of connections.
I was thinking that when I was in film school, and we had this thing called film. It was made of celluloid, and then the soundtrack was cut on the Nagra, and it was put on mag, and so it was separate. So somebody had to like put all the film dailies together, and no one wanted to do it, and it'd be like 30 other students in my class. And I did all the dailies. So after a while, I got to be a little bit valuable to everybody as a result. And so I ended up becoming, working in the supply room for the, you know, for all of checking out the Bolexes and all this stuff. So I think being willing to do the drudge jobs, you know, is a good way to show that your willingness to really help and to provide something that maybe other people aren't doing. So I think that might be one way to do things. The TAP program that was mentioned at NAB. So at NAB, there's another association called the BEA, which I guess is like what, Broadcasters Educational Association. And the BEA has a career fair at the NAB show, right? So I went to the career fair, and SMPTE had a table, and there was a student from East Bay in Hayward, and in the TAP program. So she's, you know, getting that advantage. So look around, look on the websites, look in the organizations. But one way to find out about these things is to go to the AES, go to the SMPTE, go to the IEEE, go to the NAB, and look at what's on the website and pull that information from there. But that raises a question, which is what kind of jobs might be available in the Bay Area? Because this isn't Hollywood. Any thoughts?
Computer jobs.
And this is also a music town.
Yeah.
You know, this is a big music town.
Plugins. Game audio. No, I'm serious.
Well, and corporate video. We've got a lot of big.
Well, that pays the bills.
In fact, that might be a good opportunity, is, you know, just asking, where can I get something I can do? And around here, you know, there's going to be an awful lot of corporate things going on. Corporate games, all manner of things.
Yeah, I was going to say that we actually talked about this at a recent IEEE event, and the World Economic Forum, and this is for the students, the environment is changing rapidly, that in the next 5 years, 85 million jobs will be eliminated, you know, their estimate. But the good news is 97 million will be created. And we're going through a major shift in terms of how the workforce is. And those of us who are working, as we're hearing here, may need to reskill up to 40%. So I think in terms of jobs here, I would actually offer these words of advice. If there's one area I think that's going to really drive, we heard a lot about AI, but the innovations going on with things like quantum computing, which will increase computing power 100-fold or more, will actually, I believe, create a tipping point. I also believe personally that augmented reality, which I often joke VR is still a virtual business to all my VR friends, it's becoming more real. And a lot of the work now, I predict in 5 years, we'll have glasses that will be as ubiquitous as our mobile devices are today. And they'll support communication with the mobile devices. There's some patents now where you can automatically put in a prescription, so you have a standard frame, boom, dial in your prescription. So
I saw that at the CES show actually out there.
Yeah, see, so it's might even be sooner. But so in terms of jobs, I think media, the good news for us in the SMPTE world is consumers will want to consume content. It will change. I think AR will be part of that. So in terms of jobs and job skill sets to get, that'd be my 2 cents.
Well, and what it really means is don't give up being a student, because you're going to do that the rest of your life. You know, things are moving so fast, everything's going to continue to change. If you don't keep up with it, you know, no matter how old you are, actually, you know, that you're going to miss out on the fun.
Yeah, and get Chat GTP. Question. Come on down.
Right on. Hi. I'm a video production student at Foothill right now, but I'm also a software engineer. And I guess while we're making predictions, I'd like to know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems, I mean, the saying in Silicon Valley for the last 30 years has been software is eating the world. And I feel like we've seen a lot of hardware sort of go onto desktop computers. In my mind, the classic example is the digital audio workstation, which has replaced so many boxes. And I guess I'm wondering, do you see that, I guess, virtualization sort of trend continuing for the next 30 years, or is that going to slow down and we're going to start seeing more dedicated advanced devices and like more advanced hardware, which also obviously has algorithms and that sort of thing? But I guess my question is, what's the future of the like desktop PC and the software thing in the studio, in the trucks?
Well, I mean, already high-end video is becoming integrated into motherboards. So that, I think, will create a lot of ease in higher-end video production. And imagine, you know, speaking of AI, imagine something which did color matching better than what we have to do now. And yet, when we watch these shows on TV, we can always tell when they switch cameras because, you know, background wall colors change. You think, come on, people. But if that's more automated, a little less clumsy, that'll be better. And certainly the higher the resolutions go, you know, we're in 4K now, but this 8K is on the horizon. Much more power to work with.
So software has to run on something. And the thing is, there's going to be a lot more somethings in the future. Basically, everything is going to be have computers in it.
And probably distributed as well. I mean,
yeah,
we're talking
very
about,
distributed.
Yeah.
So you're going. I think you're going to have. The answer is yes on both. You're going to have very sophisticated stuff that runs in your body, you know, in your glasses, like Pat was pointing out, or in your clothes, you know. But you're also going to have increasingly complex ways in which people can create large places where they can do a lot of computing in more and more efficient ways, hopefully sustainable ways, that then they can rent out for people to use as they need it. So it's going to be both. You're going to have a lot of sophistication locally with it, probably not a traditional PC, but whatever your thing is. You know, right now it's like this, right? But in the future, everything is going to have this. Everything is going to be running sophisticated software and hardware. It's going to have more awareness of what goes on around it, connected to everything. You know, and that's the kind of world we're getting into.
Yeah, I also think that first we need to recognize your greatness at being a unicorn as a computer science and production person. because that is the way that a lot of this is actually going to go. And being that you have both sides of that education is going to put you in a unique position to help drive some of that innovation. So I applaud you on being able to do both of those at such an early age. The other thing is I think that what you're going to see is the right tool for the right job. That will drive what actually happens. You see a lot of people right now who went to CES, they're clapping and applauding about Rabbit One because it came out of the box and everybody was like, oh my gosh, what is Rabbit One? It's essentially Siri just dedicated into a small box, and that's all that it does. It's not going to do everything else that your phone does, but it's dedicated to be an assistant and to do that. And it's a small little hardware box. Now, it still has to have software that's going to run it. And so it goes back to what Tom just said. It's going to be a little bit of both, but it's really going to be dedicated to what the task is that it's going to be, built for.
For the software engineer in the audience, just
be careful when ChatGPT starts writing code. It's going to happen. AI will be in chips. That's already in development. If I had to
yes.
Yeah, GPT. What am I saying?
You said something different.
Chat Pat. Whatever.
Let's hope it does increase our GDP.
I would encourage. I would encourage you to read the Quantum Supremacy book, since you're a software engineer. I really am kind of amazed as that stuff becomes more and more real, even though I still don't get the Heisenberg uncertainty principle and a particle and probability. But it apparently does work, and it's just going to be a revolution in computing that's, I think, is going to be as profound as mobile and a lot of things we have. And it's coming quickly in the next 5 to 10 years, so go study. Yeah, well, he's hoping. Yeah, and what's going to, yes, the tools are going to get better and better. I think they're going to be AI assisted, as we heard here today, and it'll make the mundane tasks more easy and hopefully still allow for creativity, which is the key part of storytelling. Right, Shane?
And I would hope that it leads to augmented intelligence, right? It's machines working with us, not take, that's why he's saying, the opportunity is there to create even more jobs with technology, to help us to be better at what it is we're going to be.
Well, yeah, there was was it Harvard Business Review talked about that. There's artificial intelligence and augmented intelligence, and augmented is complementing the human skill set with these capabilities.
Because the algorithms are good at some things, but they're not good at the kind of stuff we're really good at.
Yeah, that's true.
And by the way, for the software question before, if you haven't checked out MUX, in San Francisco, usually every month there's the video meetup and at MUX, and then usually toward the end of the year is the DMUX event. So pretty cool stuff. So something to check out. We're really at time. Any last comment? Justine, any last words?
Just sort of general career advice, because I'm not, again, the technical person. But I think it's really important to, maintain a curious mindset no matter what it is that you're doing. Create opportunity for yourself also, right? It's not about waiting for someone to create that. And there's opportunity in all kinds of places. So keep an open mind about that. And don't just feel like, oh, I'm stuck, I'm at this dead-end job. No, find the opportunity. There's always things that need to be done. Companies always need help with something. Seize those opportunities. And also, I would say, try a lot of different things. Because lots of times you find out that what you're passionate is what you're good at, right? And you don't sometimes realize what it is that you're really great at until you start doing some of these different things. I never thought I'd be planning trade shows for a living. I thought I was going to be a lobbyist, writing legislative briefs, working in government, and quickly learned that really wasn't for me, wasn't what got me excited in the mornings. Doing this kind of stuff got me really excited. And that's how I was able to build my career and be so successful. Also, like I said, just keeping that curious mindset, no matter where you are and what you're doing in life, is really super important. and asking the questions. There's always a good, no bad question. And I think, Pat, you said it too, you're always learning. No matter what happens, you're always learning.
And one last thing. All of us are creative people. Let's understand the way our minds work. Because what's a straight line to us is a point to somebody else. And when we start understanding our own process, then we'll ultimately be more efficient at what we do, or maybe, find a direction which employs our creativity more better and, earns us more money.
Well, we're pretty well out of time, but I want to thank everybody for your time today, especially our panelists. Thanks so much.